Derek's day back. Derek is a diesel engine who had been at the workstation for a very long time. When he first arrived, he had a lot of trouble with his cooling system. There were a few teething troubles with it, and it interfered with his work with Bill and Ben. Now Derek was mended properly, and he was very happy to be back on the line again. He was heading back to Knapford Station to see the Fat Controller. He couldn't wait to show how really useful he could be. Derek chugged into the station where the Fat Controller was waiting. "Hello, Derek," smiled the Fat Controller. "It's so good to see you after so long." "Thank you, sir," said Derek. "It's great to have my cooling system fixed properly." "I hope your first day back here is a good one," said the Fat Controller. "Now I have a couple of jobs for you that need doing." Derek was very pleased to hear this. "First, you must collect some trucks of steel from the smelter's yard and take them to Great Waterton," the Fat Controller explained. "Then you must take the scrap trucks from Great Waterton to the scrap yards. Can you do that?" Derek was worried. He hadn't been to any of those places before, so this was all new to him. "Don't worry, Derek," said his driver. "I'm sure the other engines will help us with our jobs." "Indeed," agreed the Fat Controller. "My engines will all be there to help you." Then the Fat Controller left. Then Thomas puffed into the station to collect his passengers. He was surprised to see Derek in the station. "Hello," puffed Thomas. "Haven't I seen you somewhere before?" "Yes, indeed," said Derek. "I used to have TV troubles with my cooling system." Thomas gasped in amazement. He was very pleased to see the diesel again. "Welcome back to Sodor," smiled Thomas. "I'm Thomas the Tank Engine." "Hello, Thomas," smiled Derek. "My name is Derek." "Good luck on your first day, Derek," whistled Thomas. "Thank you," tooted Derek, and he chugged out of the station to the smelter's yard. Derek rattled happily along the line. He felt very proud to be working again. He couldn't wait to collect his train and start making his journey. Then he saw an engine puffing towards him. It was Henry. He was pulling a long train of coal trucks. He was having a wonderful time. Derek tooted hello as he passed by. "Hello," he tooted. Henry was surprised. He had never seen Derek before and wasn't sure what to say. Soon Derek arrived at the smelter's yard. He could see the yard was quiet and that there were lots of trucks. Derek was worried. He hadn't been here before. "Where am I supposed to go?" asked Derek. "Cheer up, old boy," said his driver. "We'll ask the foreman. Maybe he can help us." The foreman arrived and saw Derek waiting. He came to see them. "Ah, you must be the diesel engine that's here to collect the trucks of steel," he said. "That's right," said the driver. "Arry and Bert will have your trucks ready in no time," said the foreman. "That's good news," smiled Derek's driver. "We'll be having our train sorted out for us." "Hooray!" said Derek, but he wished he was as happy as he sounded. Derek was resting when Arry and Bert came up to see him. "Hello then, Derek," said Arry. "Come back to work after so long?" "Yes," answered Derek. "I would like to make my delivery as soon as possible, please." "Yes, sir," sneered Bert, and the two diesels sidled away sniggering. But Derek wasn't sure. He was sure they were up to something. Derek backed up to his train. He slowed to a stop and his driver went to couple him up. But no sooner had he stopped, he saw Bert coming towards him with some empty trucks. Derek was surprised, but before he could do anything, it was too late. "Look at that," sniggered Bert. "A long green sausage in the middle." "Now that is very funny," laughed Arry. This made Derek upset, and his driver was cross too. "Stupid diesels," he cried. "Now what?" "I'm sorry," sighed the foreman, "but there's nothing you can do. You'll just have to make do with it, I'm afraid." This made Derek upset, but he had no choice. With trucks in front and trucks behind, this meant Derek had to go slowly. So he set off out of the yards with his long, heavy train. Emily was waiting to enter the yards when she saw a train coming towards her. She was surprised when she saw who was hauling it. Emily had never seen that diesel before. "Hello, are you new here?" she asked. "My name is Derek," sighed the diesel in the middle. Emily blew a cheerful whistle. "Welcome to Sodor, Derek," smiled Emily. This made Derek feel a little better. Derek did his best to pull and push his train, but it was very tricky to see where he was going with the trucks in front of him. "This is hard work," he thought to himself. "You can do it, Derek," called his driver. Derek soon turned onto the track that led to Great Waterton station. He wasn't far from the station now. Derek approached the hill where Stanley had had his accident with the trucks. He was worried, so his driver made a decision. "We'll have to take it slowly," said the driver. "We cannot risk picking up speed while going downhill." Derek agreed that this was a good idea, so, slowly and carefully, he edged forward and made his way down the hill. It was harder than it looked, and Derek didn't like this one bit. Then it happened. There was a creaking sound, and Derek could just hear it. He looked down and saw the coupling in front of him groan and creak. Suddenly it gave a loud crack. Derek watched in horror as his front trucks sped down the hill on their own. "No!" he shouted. The trucks ran down the hill very fast. Oliver was at the bottom of the hill. He was collecting passengers. He couldn't wait to go. Suddenly he heard a loud rattle and a clatter in the distance. When he saw the trucks heading towards him, he blew a long and loud whistle. The signalman quickly switched the points and the trucks ran into a siding where some trucks of stone were. The runaway trucks crashed into the parked trucks. Dust flew everywhere. When the dust cleared, everyone looked around. Luckily no one was hurt, but Oliver was in shock. Derek arrived and saw Oliver was not looking happy. "Were those your trucks?" he asked sternly. "Yes," said Derek, "but it wasn't my fault. Those diesels made me—" "You should be more careful," huffed Oliver. "You were just lucky that no one got hurt." "Go and shunt your trucks now," called the shunter. Derek sighed sadly as he chugged away. Later he was resting in the siding and was taking on fuel. Percy arrived with some loaded flatbeds for Rocky, the crane, to unload. Percy saw Derek and was very happy to see him. "Hello, you must be Derek," he puffed. "I'm Percy." "Hello, Percy," sighed Derek sadly. Percy was puzzled. "What's the matter, Derek?" he asked. Derek told Percy all about what Arry and Bert had done and about his accident with the trucks. Percy listened carefully. "Take no notice of them," huffed Percy. "They're nothing but trouble." Derek agreed. Then his driver returned to see him. "It's time to take the trucks to the scrap yards," he said. But Derek didn't want to go. He wanted to stay and talk to Percy a bit longer. "Please, sir, could we stay a little longer?" he asked. "Sorry, Derek," said his driver. "A job's a job and we must complete it." "Yes, sir," sighed Derek, and he set off to collect his trucks. "Goodbye, Derek," whistled Percy. It wasn't long before Derek was on his way. The train was long, but he was doing a good job, and it was a long way to the scrap yards, but Derek made sure he asked the signalman which way it was to the scrap yards. At last he arrived. As he stopped, he saw Arry and Bert there. They were ready to go. They were going to make a delivery to the docks. "Oh, look, it's Derek," grinned Arry. "He's not a very useful engine at all," chortled Bert. And the two diesels set off out to the yards with their train of scrap. Derek felt miserable. He couldn't have felt sadder. "This isn't a very good day at all," he moaned. Just then, Stanley arrived with some empty trucks. He could see Derek wasn't happy. "Hello," he puffed. "You must be Derek. What's wrong?" "I'm having a very bad day," explained Derek. "Arry and Bert made me a middle engine, and I had an accident with my trucks." Stanley smiled. He always liked to look on the bright side of things. "Cheer up, Derek," he said. "Something good will happen to you. Just you wait and see." And he puffed away to start his shunting. Derek thought about this for a moment. Then, as soon as he was uncoupled, he set off out of the scrap yards. Derek set off down the track towards Snapford Station. He was worried. He was sure the Fat Controller was going to be cross. But before he could think about this, the signalman waved a red flag. Derek's driver slowed Derek to a stop. "What's wrong?" he asked. "The track ahead is blocked," the signalman explained. "Arry and Bert are broken down, and now they're stuck. Can you help, please?" "What do you say, Derek?" the driver asked. "You're needed for a rescue." And for the first time all day, Derek gave a big smile. "Let's go and help them," he smiled. "Now I'll show them who's really useful." And he set off to the rescue. found Arry and Bert stuck on a bend. They were looking upset. Derek couldn't help but chuckle. "Dear, oh dear," he chuckled. "You should check your fuel before you go anywhere." This made Arry and Bert cross. They didn't like being teased. Derek buffered up to the back of the train. His driver coupled him up and he gave a mighty push. Then the train started to move. Arry and Bert were surprised. They couldn't believe what was happening. Derek heaved and hauled as hard as he could. The train was heavy, but he was determined to get the train delivered on time. At last, Derek reached the docks. The train rolled into the dockside where the men were waiting to unload the trucks. Derek rolled to a stop. He felt tired and exhausted, but he felt very pleased with himself. "I did it," he panted. "Well done, Derek," smiled his driver. Then Thomas arrived with the fat controller. He came to see Derek. "Derek, you have worked very hard and you made your deliveries on time," he smiled. "But your accident may not have happened if a couple of diesels hadn't put you in the middle." Arry and Bert felt silly and they didn't say a word. "You did a great job today," smiled the dock manager. "You got the train delivered safely. We're all proud of you." Derek was surprised. "So you're not cross with me?" he asked, feeling cheerfully. "Cross?" boomed the fat controller. "Why would I be cross with you when you have proven to be a really useful engine?" Derek was so happy he beamed from buffer to buffer. "Hooray for Derek!" cheered Thomas. Everyone cheered and clapped loudly. Thomas and Salty whistled and tooted happily, and Derek gave the loudest toot of all. But Arry and Bert just sulked.